So we got first a headline here: shootings across Seattle on Sunday leave four dead. This from the Seattle Times. Christine Claridge. Um, and yeah, it's if you live in the municipality, if you live in Seattle or even beyond Seattle, then I mean for sure this news that you guys have heard. This was just a horrendous weekend. This weekend here in Seattle, and actually, when we were doing show prep, we're one block from Yesler. So we're in Washington, which is one block from Yesler. So basically, First and Yesler is the other corner over here. And just at 8:30 this morning, somebody was shot on 8th and Yesler. Not a lot of details out about it right now. Police responded and took the victim to Harborview, which is very close up there to 8th and Yesler, and they're looking for the suspect in that. So just even this morning, there's violence here in our city. Is out of control, and this is something like here at Converge, like even well before the Seattle protests, well before COVID. Like we started a show called Good Game Alert. It's almost 2 years old now. We want to be able to use our platform to be able to talk about what's been going on. And for a lot of us, this issue here, gun violence in our city, is generational. We've had some shows before where we talked about when I was at Garfield High School, classmates murdered. When I was in high school, it's a generation ago. And we talk about a generation later, my son, his friends murdered here in the city. So for different communities in this city, this has always been an issue here. It's definitely, I think, on everybody's radar, at least right now. At least I hope so. But this is something that a lot of different communities here in Seattle have been dealing with. And what we saw this weekend is this is too much. And we've been saying this, and a lot of different people in the community have been saying this, but I think it's really like now it's like, what actions are we going to take here, as a city, and how do we move forward with this? One of the things I talked to Hannah Scott this morning on Cairo FM, and one of the things that I talked to her about is it's time for us to stop saying, thoughts and prayers. I think that thoughts and prayers for tonight, but put this in your action plan for tomorrow. This is one of the things you guys know, if you follow me, you follow Converge, that we've just been staying on top of. Last week, we were just up there at Harborview Medical Center, where the city announced a $2 million investment in regional peacekeepers, things like that, people to actually work not only in gun violence disruption, but also in rerouting some of the people who might be inclined to engage in gun violence. And I'd be clear as well, not all murders and violent crimes that are happening in the city of Seattle are from our community or impact our community. It's all kinds of different things that are happening here in the city. But of course, my community is what I'm most in touch with. It'll be interesting. And I reached out to city council. I reached out to the communications people over there, to Stephanie Guzman, I think it is, over at city council early this morning, to see if any other council members had anything to say or any statement. Now, Stephanie got back to me and said that basically they'd be making a statement right now when I'm on air, because this is the time that they usually, they're in council meeting. And so we'll see where the council is saying about all of these things. But we've, over here at Converge, we just really been trying to get people to care, man. King County Council Member Gurmai Zahalai, a few months ago, he came in here and he had wrote an op-ed in the Seattle Times, and he talked about how what's happening here is a public health emergency. It's a public health crisis, and said that like COVID-19 gave our city and our county, even our state, a blueprint of um, how to go about a public health crisis. And one thing COVID taught all of us is that, man, when we're determined as citizens here in the city and the county, and we're determined to do something, that like we can do it, right? But it's really going to come down to is how determined are we to disrupt this gun crime and this violence in our city. It's like, for me personally, on this issue right here, is like, I just been trying to empower people. You know, there's ideally, our elected officials are really just, I mean, I don't expect them to have all the answers. They're not experts on gun violence disruption, but it really kind of starts with people getting on the same page. And we saw that, like I said, in COVID, right? In COVID, you saw that all the messaging was the same from the governor all the way down, because everybody was committed, right? Like, yo, we got to figure it out. And also, but out of that commitment came innovation, all kinds of different ideas, and transformation. We transformed, building. We transformed, Lumen into, it was like a hospital over there. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, a vaccination station, and so many other things that we did here in this city, because we banded together and we focused on, like, man, how can we, the people, in partnership with government, get over a lot of stuff with COVID. And, I just think that unless we, the citizens here, unless we kind of take the lead, because some of these electeds around this issue, and the door is always open here, by the way. So any elected official, you want to come over here and talk about what you've been doing for disruption on this issue, anybody that wants to come and talk about it, the door is wide open, and there's only a few people, when I think about it, that have actually come on here to actually talk about what's going on and what they're doing, or what they would want to do. And, Mayor Durkin, of course, we've talked to the mayor a few times, Chief Diaz, but also Councilmember Zahalai, again, with intention. Hey, I want to talk about this. And then one of the candidates, Justin Farrell called, and this was like a few months ago. Like, man, can I come on here and talk about, saying a safety plan for the city? So, I mean, man, the door is open to any elected official out there. You want to talk about this? You want to talk to the citizens here in the city and talk to them about what's going on here? A lot of you guys have been real quiet, and we've been saying you've been quiet. We've been saying for months you've been quiet. And what we've been saying right here is you don't need a campaign strategy or research just to acknowledge what's happening here. Man, it's just straight up humanity. And I don't know about y'all, but where I'm from, it's like where I'm from, your humanity, and it's bigger than politics. But sometimes I feel like we live in a city where your politics makes your humanity a la carte. Only care about these kind of people, only care about those kind of people, when it's beneficial or when it's whatever. But it's like, man, real humanity don't know no political party. If we really want to be the city that we say that we want to be, that we aspire to be, then, man, y'all got to act like it. I mean, in the conversation, like I said, when I was talking to Hannah Scott at Cairo this morning, I was like, yo, so you got people getting killed, and then you got a whole bunch of people getting traumatized. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the businesses impacted. Like, when these things happen here, and this is the thing is that when people, electeds, are silent, it normalizes things. You know what I'm saying? It gets normalization. And I keep bringing up the fact that it was like last October, it was 70 gunshots fired over there by Emerson Elementary in the South End, right? Don't you think that that impacts a whole neighborhood? Don't you think that traumatizes a whole neighborhood? But when people stay silent, then it's just normalized. Oh, well, I guess that's just the South End. Nah, man, we don't want to live in a city like that. That's not all right. Last night, I left the Diggable Planets concert, which was dope. It was good to see them. Ishmael Butler went to Garfield, by the way, Butterfly. And I was just walking back, right? I was walking back to our studio. And our studio, again, is one block from where the shootings in Pioneer Square occurred. So I was walking back, and I turned the corner, and I just happened to see the family and friends of one of the victims were there, and they were having a vigil. So it was totally like by happenstance, no reporter journalism hat on or nothing. I was just walking back to the studio, and man, I saw these guys there, and vigils, especially right after, like the day after someone has died, vigils is real sensitive, and I know that, and I had asked them if I could just take a picture of the candles that they had set up, and I was like, man, I just think that it's important for people in our city to see that, like, someone here is suffering a loss, and that the family and friends are out there and everything else. I just wanted to be able to shed a little bit of light, a little bit of humanity on this grief that they were going through. And so I tweeted out the candle display, and in the description, I was like, the mom is there unconsolable, right? And I mean, the family really encouraged me to talk to mom. And I felt hella uncomfortable, to be honest with you. But it was like, yo, it's important that people see the pain, the actual pain that people are in, and the grief that people are in the city. And you'll see right here in this clip, according to the family, one of the deceased there never made it into the nightclub, and was apparently trying to break up a fight that was out there, and then was shot. So we'll play this clip right now.
What happened? His father passed, right?
What happened? My baby died trying to kick it for his dad's birthday. He threw a party for his dad, and he died at his dad's birthday party.
This was a party yesterday for his deceased father.
For his deceased father.
Oh,
He got everybody together, had a barbecue, and then everybody came here to kind of celebrate afterwards. He never made it in this club. He was just outside. Some girls started fighting. He tried to break it up and got killed.
He tried to stop somebody else from fighting, and he got killed.
Right.
Good God.
They got shot at his back walking away.
Man, it's real out here. It's real. And like I said, this is an issue that in certain communities like mine, man, we've been dealing with this for far too long, right? And I tweeted out, right? I was like, do we care as a city? And I got a lot of feedback, and it's still coming in. It got retweeted by a lot of people, and a lot of people are tweeting like, "Yeah, like we care," but and a lot of those buts, to be honest with you, people are like, "Man, what's up with our leadership here?" And man, I'm sorry. Like it's been a lot. Eric Calligraphy, he called me right before we went on air, and one of the 4 people that were killed is somebody that he knew, was close to, and for you guys that have been following us here on Converge, it's been constant with Eric, constant that somebody either was related to or grew up with, close friends with. It's never too many months here to go by, and sometimes too many weeks to go by that they're dead. Um, I would just say this is that there are people who are out there, organizations that are out there, people that are doing things. We've had Derek Wheeler Smith from Public Health, Seattle King County, and the ZYD, the Zero Youth Detention Program. We there's the regional peacekeepers that that just now got investment into the regional peacekeeping program. There are organizations that are out there like on the street level. Another one, community passageways, places like Choose 180, and then up there at Harborview, they have this big data tracking program. What's crazy is like they said that it's like 100 people, maybe a little more or a little less, that's basically interconnected one way or another, that is all of this gun violence is surrounding around. And so now they're trying to figure out a way forward with using this big data and some everything else to be able to identify and the people who are perpetrating this gun violence, in the community. I would just say that it's time for no excuses, to be honest with you. It's really time for us, as a city, to really get on board to being that we don't want this in our city. We don't want this in our city. But that's only going to happen, like I was saying, it's 7 districts here. We need the whole city to buy in, to be like, man, this ain't all right, and people got to do their part. Somebody like me, I definitely don't have all the answers to something like this, but my part is to use our platform, as small as it is, to be committed to the message, and to be able to talk to y'all and to be able to provide space and to provide a platform, But man, we have to realize that what's going on here, this is a public health crisis, a public health emergency. And, if, like I said, if you think about, yes, there's the person who was killed, there's their family. And then, like I said, this weekend, there's all these people on the street, it's traumatized. Like, this isn't just, it just impacts one person or something like that. I'm going to tell you, Seattle, keep these victims here in your hearts and in your prayers tonight, and put them in the action plan tomorrow. And like I say, it's going to be real interesting to see what the city council is saying here today, what kind of comments they're making and everything else. We've been trying here, and you guys know, if you follow me on Twitter and on this show, we've been trying to get them to say something, to acknowledge what's happening here in our city. And so, we'll see what they say today, and we'll follow up on that. And it's a lot, Curtis. What do we need to do to make people just care? How many more people need to die? We got to do better. And the thing is, COVID showed us that if we want to do better, we can. But we just got to want to. We have to have the want to and the willpower to want to do better in this city around this issue. Other issues too. There's enough blame and reasons that we could point fingers at each other until the end of time. But you know what? Now's the time, right now, in the city of Seattle, 100%, lead, follow, or get out of the way. That's it. Lead, follow, or get out of the way. Because something's got to change here in this city. You know, and it's like I said, it's election season. You know, who's got a plan? Who has the real leadership? Who's really going to be impactful? Who can people rally around? I mean, matter of fact, like I said, I'm going to take all of that and I'll even put that to the side. Who has a sense of empathy? Who has a real sense of sympathy, of humanity, of dignity, of integrity? Man, let's just start with values, you know? Values ain't translated in all these other kinds of things. You know, like I said, you don't need a political strategist or a communications plan for your heart condition to shine through, for you to show some care for the citizens. Man, so anyways, we're going to do is this. Like I said, for just programming here, we have a segment on the Breathe for Kalani. We're going to have to push it to tomorrow because we're going to wrap up here in a second so we can get up to the City Hall for this press conference with the mayor and Chief Diaz. And like I said, any elected officials, community leaders, man, the door is open. The door is open. The seat is here. Go ahead, put this in program. We got a seat for you right there. Come on. You know what I'm saying? We got a seat for you right here. You got a platform right here. You tell us, what's your plan? You tell us, what have you been doing to address these issues? Me, I don't know everything, and I'm smart. I always tell people I'm smart enough to know what I don't know. Maybe you've been doing something. Maybe you've been working on this. This is great. Come here and talk about it. You know what I'm saying? It's no excuses season, man, on the real. But this chair is here for you. You come here and you explain to everybody what you've been doing. What's your plan? Like I said, right now is the time. Lead, follow, get out the way. You know, we need leadership around this issue and so many more. We're going to go to a break right now, and in that break, we're actually going to end the show after these breaks right here. Some PSAs coming up. You check those out. Trey Holiday, I'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. And we're also going to air our segment on the Breathe for Kalani rally and vigil. It's already up across our social platforms, but I know we're going to have some more discussion, and I know that tomorrow it's going to be a lot of discussion with me and Trey Holiday here. Man, I would say this is that, again, keep these victims, keep the people who witnessed this and are traumatized. Man, keep our city definitely in your hearts and prayers. But put everybody in your action plan tomorrow. Until then, go forward in your purpose. Go forward in your humanity. Peace.